hours from when I filmed the day 3 London video. I'm trying to get day 4 and day 5 done today as well because I have friends coming tomorrow for a few days and I won't be able to get around to doing this. So I definitely want to give the attention to the rest of the shows that I've seen because, you know, they're very entertaining and they deserve a shout out of sorts, even from a nobody like myself. So the first show I saw on day 4 of my trip was dun, 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 Be More Chill, also known as my favorite musical theater score ever and show pretty much. Although they're a tie for favorite show, but definitely my favorite score that I've ever heard still to this day. So I saw it off Broadway 5 times. I saw it on Broadway probably 20 plus times. And I was very much looking forward to seeing it in London, to see the changes, to see the new cast. And it definitely did not disappoint. Definitely some changes. The one change I did not like from the other versions was that they killed Madeline. Like, what did she do to deserve this? I really enjoyed that little thread through the show, and she was axed. So I don't think that's how you axe someone, but anyway, no Madeline. So it's a little disappointing on that front, but other than that, fantastic show. Of course, you know, not as expensive in the set design as the New York production, especially the Broadway production. But what they did really well, and it was really effective in telling the story. And as far as the new cast, we have Scott Folan, I believe, as, if I can find him, as Jeremy. And he brought such like nerdiness, almost, you know, kind of an aggressive nerdiness to the role, if that makes sense, which really, really works for Jeremy here. You know, it's important that you really believe that this is somebody who would be kind of an outcast and not fit in as well. I don't know, I'm looking over there again. And he just did that so well. And you could imagine going to school with somebody like that who was kind of on the outside of everything, who didn't really have a friend group, you know, per se, and kind of felt alone and that type of thing. So he just did that so effectively. I thought, great job on that. And then, of course, I'm gonna find Blake's last name. I knew it yesterday, Blake Patrick Anderson as Michael Mell. Gosh, what an incredible voice. What an incredible performance. Definitely a highlight of the show for me. His voice is so beautiful, and singing, you know, the standard song, Michael in the Bathroom, just made it his own. Oh, it's raining outside again. Now that I'm looking at the window, I can tell these things. But anyway, he made it his own. He just, I can't even explain it. The way he sings, it kind of like goes right through your skin to your heart, and it's just incredible to see and hear, you know, so it was wonderful. I don't know if that made any sense, but anyway, it was just fantastic. Then we have Miracle Chance as Christine, completely different from Stephanie Sue. Just made it her own in every possible way, so I never knew what she was gonna do, which made it cool for me, having seen the show so many times, to have completely new things happening, a completely new portrayal, and so that I could be surprised, which was great. I love that. And all right, so I could go through everybody, but I think I'm just gonna go ahead and cut this short and say the entire cast did great. But I really have to talk about Stuart Clark. No one ever heard so much about him. People are raving, you know, about what a great job he does. Oh my gosh, just fantastic. It should be noted that my favorite musical theater character of all time is Jason Tam's version of the script. So he had a lot to live up to, Stuart did. So, you know, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go in open-minded. I'm not gonna expect like a replication of that performance. I know it's gonna be new, it's gonna be different. It was incredible. I mean, he couldn't have done any better. It was so fantastic, and I was so glad I got to see it. So, you know, kudos, Stuart Clark, making it your own and crushing it, absolutely crushing it. They all did such a fabulous job. All of the cast were just wonderful. I'm just like leaving through for some reason, I don't know why. But they were so great. So, yay, Be More Chill. And then I did sit in the script zone. And so I guess I hadn't really followed what they were giving in the script zone. I expected maybe a pin of some sort. No, what they gave was fan art, which I thought that was really cool, although I don't know exactly where I'm gonna hang a picture of Jeremy's dad with just his underwear on, but you know, I'll figure it out. But this was made by, it looks like Gary Andrews at Gary Scribbler, if you want to look him up. I'm guessing that's the Insta. And wow, definitely accurate to the show. Very talented artist. So that was cool, although I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with it, but it was very cool that they're using fan art as the Script Zone prize, excuse me. So that was Be More Chill. Yay, finally got to see it in London, and let's be real, there are so many times I wanted to see shows in London, and I just, you know, the expense is so much, and I'm like, oh, can I really afford this? Can I justify going over to see a show? And the thing that finally got me there, that's like, I can't miss this, especially after, you know, closed down early because of the pandemic last year, and then it came back this year, and I said, I cannot miss Be More Chill in London. Like, that is my show, I cannot miss it. And I'm so glad I got to see it. It was just so fantastic. So yay! That's like a life dream accomplished. So bucket list, check. Anyway, moving on. So that this doesn't get too long, which it already is, but the evening show I saw was Andrew Lloyd Webber's Cinderella. I don't think I got the whole thing in there, but anyway, we didn't need that sound effect. Okay, so that's Andrew Lloyd Webber's Cinderella. Stars Carrie Hope Fletcher as Cinderella, and of course I've heard a lot about her, primarily because she was in Heathers, which is one of my all-time favorite musicals, last year, so I didn't get to see her in it, but I was very glad to see her this trip, excuse me, as Cinderella. I was very curious about the show, and Andrew Lloyd Webber is kind of, you know, very like legendary, but I was trying to figure out what he was going to do with Cinderella and how this show would play out. And overall, definitely thumbs up. Super entertaining, you know, super talented cast. Starting with Carrie Hope Fletcher, of course, amazing voice, just, you know, great job, and great job portraying this version of Cinderella, which is more like kind of a goth wannabe, if anything. Besides her, the rest of the cast was also fantastic, and I want to point out probably my star of the week in terms of somebody that I came across this week that I didn't know about before, who I'm going to remember a long time. And of course I say that and I don't remember his names. Well, it's the pronunciation more than anything that I don't really remember, so I'm going to try to sound it out by looking at it. Okay, here we go. Ivano Turco as Prince Sebastian. Oh my goodness. What can't he do? Like, what a star. What a fantastic, I don't know if this is his like London debut or not, but it's his debut with me. So I just was blown away by his talent, by his appeal, by his way of engaging, you know, in such a way that the audience is just very drawn in right off the bat, and with his voice, which is absolutely heavenly, with his acting, which is so engaging and good. I already said that, whatever. His dancing on top of everything else is just phenomenal. I need some new adjectives, or are the adverbs, in any descriptors. That's what I need, because I think I say the same things a lot, and not intentionally. I'm also looking over the wrong way again, but that's okay. Anyway, just remember that name, even if I've said it wrong. Ivano Turco, hopefully I've said it right, or kind of close, as Prince Sebastian. Amazing. I could do a whole video on him, so I just need to stop. But anyway, whenever you get the chance to catch him in this or anything, do so, because what an incredible performer. Okay, and then some of the other actors that were in the show. Victoria Hamilton Barrett as the stepmother. So funny, so hilarious, so over the top. I don't even know like how somebody has that kind of comedic skill and comedic timing, and I'm jealous as a person who has no talent of any kind to see somebody like that perform at the top of their game. She was just fantastic. Every time she came on the stage, people were just laughing in stitches. And then as the prince's mother, the queen, I believe her name is Rebecca Treherne. I'm sure I'm not saying that right. Treherne. I don't know, but Rebecca, I'm so sorry to have butchered your name, but amazing job as the queen. You know, just that right amount of like stern in some parts, but overall like funny, overbearing, but just a delight to watch, especially as she faced off with the stepmother and their song together. That was hilarious. Georgina Castle and Laura Baldwin as the stepsisters were fantastic. Really funny, you know, just that snooty that you would want them to bring to the role. They absolutely did it. So to continue, now that I've messed up the video and had to start again, Gloria Onitiri as the godmother was fantastic. Definitely not the kind of godmother that you were expecting, but then it's not the kind of Cinderella you were expecting. So that was really cool. She was definitely like such stage presence and talent, and really, you know, you were very intimidated by her, let's put it that way, as she intended. So, you know, so more of an ominous vibe than you would expect from the fairy godmothers, as it were. And then the other character I wanted to talk about was Caleb Roberts. That would be an actor, not a character, but he played the other prince in the show, and he definitely brought all the like sex appeal and, you know, just that, what am I trying to say? I don't know, charisma. That's the word I can't quite, you know, reach in my brain here, but anyway, charisma, so much charisma, and it made sense for the role because all the town is, you know, supposedly like in love with him. You know, most of the women, some of the guys, they all want to be with him or be him. So it makes a lot of sense that the way he played it, because he definitely was like the big man on campus. So it was great to see, you know, an actor be able to embody that so easily. I suspect he can embody that quite as well in real life too. So wonderful cast all around. The show itself, wow. You know, set design, fantastic. The songs, you know, were very like melodic and beautiful, and so many good singers in the cast. You know, I think all I've seen this week, or last week I should say by now, are great singers. And the show is certainly no exception. The story itself, probably, the book is probably the only little kind of, I don't know, issue or like minor tweak I would give to the book if I could, if I had any sort of influence in such things, which I don't, so that's probably for the best. But I did feel like the Cinderella here, it's cool that they made her kind of edgy and she's like the rebel, and all that's great and cool, and but at the same time, they didn't sort of show her redeeming qualities. They didn't show, I mean, they showed some of them. They showed her like her spunk, you know, her fortitude, all that was great, but they didn't kind of show her vulnerability as much as I would have liked. They didn't show her kindness as much as I would have liked. You just had to kind of assume that she's kind in some moments because you don't actually see it in the show. So to root for her, you want to see more of her different facets and not just the edgy, oh, you know, I'm fight the man kind of girl or whatever. That was so nerdy. Why did I do that? But you know what I mean. She was great. Carrie Hope Fletcher was great as the character. I just think I would like to see the character a little more fleshed out than it is in this version, and not just to see one side of her, which I felt we kind of saw a lot of. You saw, okay, she's the rebel, and then you saw that she's in love, but you didn't see her the rest of the time. You didn't see the rest of her, I should say, and the rest of the parts of her personality that make you want to root for her as much. So that's something I would tweak if I had any sort of involvement and power to do so. But on the whole, I thought it was great, and I thought like the story, the way that they kind of turned it on its head was great, and I enjoyed it probably more than I thought I was going to enjoy it, because again, I'm not into the old-timey stories as much as I think I said that before in one of the earlier videos. But you know, this worked for me. It really did. I thought the production was great. I thought the staging was fantastic. And it was great. It was definitely a must-see. Go check it out if you can. Probably everything I saw this week was like a must-see, so I guess pick from what you would want to see. So those were the two shows that I saw today, and I had a great time. And I have one more video for tomorrow, and tomorrow we're going to talk about, or tomorrow's video, I mean, it probably later today's video, but who knows when it will go up. So, but the final day in London will feature the show that was my #1 of the week. So that's exciting. Maybe more for me than anyone else, but I'm really excited to talk about that show, which I won't say what it is quite yet, but yeah, so that'll be the next video, talking about the two shows I saw on my final day, including one I had already seen in New York, that I was seeing with a different cast. That was cool. But yeah, and then the final show that I saw was just absolutely blew my mind. I'm gonna probably talk about that for an hour, so I'll try to edit that down. Because yeah, this is getting very long-winded already. Let's not keep it going. So hope you enjoy hearing a little bit about these shows and my impressions of them. They may not be your impressions, but anyway, I'd like to share what I saw and what I felt about it, because I just remember being that, you know, theater loving kid in Ohio that had no access to any kind of, you know, New York theater, let alone London theater, so I know what it's like when you can't really get to those shows and you'd like to know more about them. So that's why I felt like I should probably talk about the shows this week, because they're so far away from most of us that, and you know, especially if you're a kid, it's hard to get to across the pond if you're going up in America or wherever. So I thought I'd like to talk about them a little, and so that's why I did. But hopefully you didn't make it this far and you turned it off earlier and went on with your life. Guess what a waste of time. No, I'm kidding. But thanks for watching, and one more. Yay! Bye.